afternoon. Today is the 27th of March and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So many of you will be familiar with the Caffeine and Machine venues. They are sort of like a sort of motoring themed series of restaurants that are in Warwickshire. The other one's in Bedfordshire, and this one is in Hampshire. So I went to Caffeine and Machine, the original one in Warwickshire, in 2019. It's been open a few years actually by that stage. It's quite big now. It's massive, really. It's not necessarily the sort of place where I sort of spend a lot of time, but when I heard that they were opening a new venue between Winchester and Petersfield at the junction of the A272 and A32, which is known by many local people as West Meon Hut, because the name of the venue for many years was that, West Meon Hut. West Meon itself is a village that's about a mile and a half south down the A32 from where the new Caffeine and Machine venue is. I've just called it the Hut. I keep thinking about Pizza Hut now, but I suppose you could have a pizza in there if you really wanted. So we'll have a look at what it's like. It might not be particularly interesting. It's a quiet day for them. They've only been open 10 days, and also it is just a Wednesday afternoon. But we'll have a look around it and we'll see what it's like. Probably going to be very empty, but for me that's probably better. Right, viewers, here we are. West Meon Hut, or rather the sort of place that this is called, because this was West Meon Hut, this particular place, which is now renamed The Hut. I would go to the run at the front and get some more footage, but it's so noisy, I'm not going to. So this is the A272, which goes to Petersfield. The A32, which goes from kind of near Alton all the way down to Gosport, is the other road. That way the A272 goes to Winchester. So it's quite a busy junction, and there's already a garage there and a little food stand. I think another cafe's here as well. So this has been kind of an important crossroads on these sort of ancient A roads for quite some time. The biggest problem I'm having here, it's quite a quiet day here. It's a sort of in the middle of the day on a Wednesday, which is why I've chosen to come here, is the piped music coming from there, which I think is going to be something of an issue in terms of copyright infringement. So I'm going to just walk around the other side and see if we can go into the little parking area. There's this big parking area, which I think they've sort of levelled out in preparation for all the people who'll be coming here during things like the Easter weekend and the summer and things. And we'll go to that bit. I can't promise anything about the sort of quality of the sound. It'll probably be really bad, as is usual on a lot of my videos. But there we go. Straight away, I have been to the main Caffeine and Machine, which is, I think, in a place called Ettington. It's near Stratford. This is a much smaller site at the moment, but if they have permission to expand into this field and build a larger parking area, then of course it will be quite different. That's better. It's quiet here now. If you want to come at the weekend, or if you want to come, I think, in certain evenings, you do have to book ahead. I think you've got to pay. But of course, I'm here in the middle of the day on a Wednesday because I'm strange. And apart from this pipe music and the traffic noise of getting in and out, it's very quiet. There was a Lamborghini here earlier on. Obviously there are some bikes and things. I imagine they'll get a lot of just passing trade here just because of where it's situated, and in fact the two major roads cross immediately outside, which is why the original pub that was here, the West Meon Hut, eventually became somewhere people wanted to go, although it's been closed previously for about 5 years. So there we are, the main view you would have seen in the thumbnail, which I can't quite get very well, but if I stand about there and not get run over, that's the sort of bit where you'd actually see it. Right, it's not really like an awful lot to say because it's very quiet and there's nothing here particularly that's of any interest to most of you on the channel. But we might have a nip inside and just see what that's like. There's more potential for copyright viewers. That's not the best. Right, viewers, I enjoyed my Southern Fried Chicken burger. It's very strange sitting in there when it's so empty, but there we go. Ooh, look, a couple of things we can't talk about on the channel have turned up. Anyway, I will get in the car and drive back to Eastleigh now. And accompanied by sort of early to mid 2000s soundtrack. The person who runs this place must be about the same age as me. We will discuss our findings from Caffeine and Machine, The Hut. So there we go, we are on the way back to Eastleigh now, just from the A272. It's very hard to say from just a little brief visit, and I didn't do an awful lot of filming at all really in there because, you know, it's sort of embarrassing. I had to explain who I was and what I was doing. But the food was nice. The biggest problem is that we didn't have any sort of draft soft drinks, so I had to buy some bottles of things, which is, you know, one of these things I imagine, you know, it's just very early kind of teething problems with the place. Decor looked quite nice. They have got plenty of parking. I did actually ask the lady who was at the bar whether they had any plans to expand the parking area. They are going to do that because otherwise it's going to get terribly crowded. In terms of filming, like there, it's just too noisy really. I have the junction of those major roads there, and particularly A32 runs right outside the front of it. You can't hear anything inside, but outside, especially when they're piping the music of some extremely nostalgic music. I mean, it's sort of thing I used to listen to when I was a lot younger. You know, particularly things like Snow Patrol and stuff like that. I don't listen to it so much anymore, but I used to. So you know, there's obviously a sort of bias towards people of a certain age, and probably certain dozen cars and motorbikes there, which you don't get so much at something like Job's Garage, which is a place that I had my own sessions before. Mr. Richardson Furious Drivers had one there as the fuel power people, and I think I prefer there, although the biggest problem, they don't have many parking spaces there at all. That's the biggest problem with Job's Garage. Although when you come on a day like today, it'd be very quiet, so it wouldn't be much of a problem. But I think I sort of prefer, because this whole thing of Caffeine and Machine is just a big sort of franchise now. It's very nice. The staff seem nice. It's a nice venue. It's just well, I imagine when it wants to get going, it'll probably be a bit like the one in Stratford. The other one, which is in Bedfordshire, I'm not very familiar with. It's called the Bowl. One in Stratford is now called the Hill. I don't quite know why, but I had to think of some rename, didn't they? Because you've got 3 different restaurants, so you have to differentiate them somehow. But yes, you know, it seemed kind of pleasant enough. If you do go, I think on certain evenings, and particularly the weekend, you have to pay to put yourself a slot, which is yeah. I don't think necessarily I'll be doing that. But let me know what you think. If you wanted to actually have an event there, such as a little social event, you need a minimum of 25 cars to actually have one, because you'd be a car club. So it would be possible to organise an event there for the channel,
probably in collaboration with some other little channels that are around here, because you've got to get a minimum 25 cars around. That could be hard. But yeah, it is a possibility for the future. It's one of the sort of closest like motoring themed cafes to where I live. So there's that. But some people don't like caffeine in the machine, and I can understand perhaps why you don't. But it was nice to go and have a look at it anyway. Right, that's quite enough. That's even more kind of vague and boring than before, isn't it? So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Can't promise anything a bit more interesting though. Like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for a kind of surprising kind of lucky dip into the fringes of automotive content.